Woohoo! Oh, good. I just realized that I forgot water, so hold on 1 second. Let me grab my water. Okay. There we go. Gotcha. Got it. Come here. This is my sheet that I put on my lap, so it's easier to see what I'm working on. I don't remember where this sheet came from. It just in the house. Okay. Time for the knitting. Look at that. Look at that cute little thing. We're getting there slowly, but surely. We're getting there. You're gonna have a scarf soon, buddy. You're gonna have a scarf soon. Yay! Also, I kind of have the hiccups, so, you know, if I hiccup, well, it's because I have the hiccups. Whoop. Okay, let's not start with these twisted. Are they twisted? I think the threads are twisted. Hold on, hold on. Yeah, they're slightly twisted. There we go. There we go. That looks good. Alright, so... wait. Man. Shalom. Hi, babe. Hi, Mom. Hi, Dad. How did you manage to type with the Hebrew alphabet? That's cool, though. Did you copy paste? That seems likely. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. I think I'm ready to switch. It seems right. I hope it's right. Anyways. I copy in from Google Translate. That works out. Easy enough. I mean, I know how to get like funky characters in my phone keyboard, but not like actual other alphabets. Alright. So, last time... This isn't even on. I'm not even looking at this. It doesn't need to be on, really. I'm not gonna be looking at my phone, guys. Alright. So last time, I decided to talk about, like, travel and places I'd been and stuff. this time I decided I'm going to talk about books, because I like books. I like books a lot. Like, I haven't done, you know, as much reading lately as I used to, like when I was younger. I used that method quite a bit when I went to comment on my Israeli friends' Facebook posts. Nice! I mean, it works. It works out, you know? The internet does a lot to help get around language barriers. And I mean, not that, like your friends probably still would understand you if you commented in English, but just in general, like, if I'm, say, scrolling through Twitter or whatever, I can, and there's a tweet that's in another language, I can just click, you know, translate tweet. It's nice. Because there's, like, some different artists and stuff that I follow, or it'll reblog stuff, retweet things from, other, you know, things that are in other languages, so it's nice to have that option. It really is. But yeah, so I decided to talk about books. I haven't done as much reading as I used to. Just, I don't know. For some reason it feels like it's harder. It's like I have less time as an adult than as a child. Weird. Weird. But, yeah. For me, a good thing about reading, well, not about reading, about me reading, is that I am a pretty fast reader. Like, I'm pretty quick. I used to say that I devour books. And I definitely still can do that. It just doesn't happen as often because this doesn't happen as often because I don't know, it just always seems like I don't have as much time, you know? But that's okay. That's okay. But yeah, so I don't really pick favorites for things, like in general. I have too much, I like too many things. I have too much passion about too many things, and things have such great variety that I don't ever really pick favorites of things. I mean, like, there may be a few things where I could be like, okay, this is probably my most favorite of this particular type of thing, but so I can't give you like, oh, this is my favorite book ever. I can tell you, oh, I liked this book a whole lot, and I like this book a whole lot, and I like that, you know, whatever. I'm trying to think of things that I actually picked favorites of. Oh, I have not been to that many concerts. I mean, decent, I guess. But I have actually picked, like, my favorite concert that I ever went to was when Jason and I went to go see Muse in Chicago a few years back. That was amazing. Like, oh my gosh, it was so cool. Oh, it was so cool. Just, oh. So amazing. Like, oh. Yeah, Muse was a really, really good concert. It was a really good concert. Let's see. I remember when I was reading the Hunger Games books for the first time, I timed myself on reading them, and I think I got through each book individually in about 3 hours, approximately. And this was like dedicate, like I would sit down and dedicate like time, just sit down and read the book, like bam, done. I did like the Hunger Games books. But I was thinking about books just because I, happened to be looking at my bookshelf today. And not for any particular reason, but just because, ADHD. I was distracted by it while I was trying to do something else. I was like, ooh, books. Also, I was just, within the past week or two, talking to a younger person, someone that I know, and lent her a couple books. Which I don't usually do that, right? Like, lend out books, but I lent her one book, and then the pandemic happened, and so she had the book for, like, over a year. But we did finally get to see each other again. Came down for a visit with family. We're all friends. And I got that book back, and then I lent her the next two in the trilogy, which I am upset with myself that I cannot remember what it's actually called. Well, the author is Lisa Manchev, like Mantchev, Lisa Manchev. One of the books is called Eyes Like Stars, but I can't remember if that's the first one or not, and now that bothers me. Anyways, they're these super cool books. The premise, at least of like the first one, is that there's this girl, the main character, that Sorry, I just got a message from my husband. He's hunting. Turkey season just started. But anyways, the premise of these books by Lisa Manchev is there's this girl who lives in a theater. And when I say she lives in a theater, I mean literally like it's like a mystical sort of place where she lives with and interacts with all the characters of the plays. Right? So like she's friends with like the little fairies, like from Midsummer Night's Dream. Like Peace Blossom and Cobweb and Mustard's, stuff like that, right? A lot of Shakespeare, other stuff too, I think. Definitely Shakespeare. But yeah, that's like the basic sort of premise, the setting of the book. They're really good. I really like the book series, like Trilogy. Yeah, Lisa Manchev, Eyes Like Stars. Can't remember if that's the first one or not, but that is for some reason the only name that I can remember, because why remember things? Huh. That is a good series. It's it's a young adult trilogy, right? Although I feel like, not that I've like seen this a whole lot, but I feel like sometimes people can dismiss young adult simply because it is labeled as young adult, when I generally feel that a lot of young adult fiction can be is very good to be experienced for anyone. It just so happens that maybe there isn't as much swearing in it or whatever. Not as much adult type content or whatever. And I'm like, honestly, I don't really care about that in my books anyways. Like, I don't need that in my books. I just want interesting stories and characters and situations. So, like, I like young adult fiction a lot. I really do. I have to tell my husband I'm streaming because he's hunting. But yeah. You should check out Lisa Manchev. She seems very cool. I found her on, I think, Facebook like a long time ago, honestly. And, I really like her stuff that I've read so far. I have a couple of her books, also that, like, I bought, but I haven't read yet. Because, you know, that happens a lot. Oh, she has one really cool book that I really like. And I just have lost the name. But it's like a steampunk. Oh, it's so cool. I like steampunk. It's just setting and everything. It's really awesome. But yeah, thinking back to like books that I have on my bookshelf, is why, you know, why I decided I wanted to talk about books. Artemis Fowl. Okay, and Artemis Fowl, this is another, you know, young adult book series. At least I would think it's categorized as young adult anyways. Oop. I don't know, let me take a drink of water real fast. My voice sounds kind of gravelly. And I don't know why. I feel like it's likely that my voice is gravelly because I haven't talked for several hours because I'm home alone. And I don't generally just talk to myself when I'm... Oh, excuse me, when I'm home alone. Sometimes, like, if I'm watching something, I will react to it out loud, even when I am by myself, but not always. You're gonna have your scarf soon, little dude? Well, soon. Haha, soon is relative. This knitting will probably take as long as it took me to make the whole little guy right here. If I had to guess. But yeah, Artemis Fowl. Okay, so Artemis Fowl is a series. I do not remember how many books there are in the Artemis Fowl series. There are several. There's at least like 4 or 5. Might be 6. I don't remember. I just know that I haven't even read all of them. And the way I read books, like, I do want to get back to it and actually finish out the series. But the way I read them, I would want to start back at the beginning again. And read through all of them. But the premise of Artemis Fowl, you know, at the start, is there's this kid. Like, literally, he's quite young. Like, I'm not sure how old. Might even not even be a teenager, right? But he's this rich Irish kid. Or at least he lives in Ireland, I believe. I think. Somewhere in the UK, maybe. Anyways, and, he's very rich, and his dad is missing for years, or, you know, presumed dead for years. His mom is sick, and he's extraordinarily smart. Artemis Fowl is. He's extraordinarily smart. And he gets into learning about fairies. like reading all kinds of lore and stuff, and decides that he thinks that there might actually be a chance that they are real. And of course, in this book, they are real. Uh, and yeah, so he finds out about them, and his goal is to um, trick them, capture a fairy, and get gold out of them. I guess, honestly, like. Anyways, that's I suppose the very basic premise. I don't want to say necessarily a whole lot more because it would just be probably spoilers, but super cool. And just the way, just the world that they live in, like the way they describe like the world of the fairies and where they live, which is underground, because that makes sense in this world. Like, where else are they going to remain undetected underground? But oh man, it's really cool. I say it's really cool a whole lot. Okay, it's just sometimes I mean, there's a reason I like writing. It's because I have time to put words together to describe things that I don't necessarily like automatically will just come to my head while I'm talking, you know? But yeah, Artemis Fowl is an absolutely such a well-made and well-crafted world. Like, I absolutely adore it. Like, definitely look into that. The first one is literally just called Artemis Fowl. So that's pretty simple, right? Uh, definitely a good recommendation. I remember reading Lord of the Rings when I was younger, and I remember, okay, I had already read them at this point, but I was rereading them, and I sat down and read Fellowship of the Ring in one day, and maybe 6 hours. And then I just remember telling people that, and they were surprised, I guess, surprised that I had read it so quickly. But I was just sitting there like, well, I already read it, and I just was devoting time to it, and this is the concentration that I have, the hyper focus that you get a lot of times with the ADHD. It can sometimes be helpful, sometimes not. And again, this is reading things that I like to read about. Like if it can sometimes be hard for me to read, like sometimes in school it would be difficult for me to concentrate if a textbook was really dry. And like if it was interesting and well written, like a school textbook, then I would be able to get through it pretty quick and maintain a good amount of the information, retain a good amount of the information. But just I remember once I took an American history class in college, just because it was. I never finished college, by the way. I decided, because I was just taking like classes through community college, and I decided that it wasn't worthwhile for me to continue because I didn't need a college degree to do what I wanted to do in life, which was like writing, doing creative things on my own. Anyways, what I was taking, it was sort of an American history class, and we had to write a paper, and I decided to write about the Battle of Lake Erie during the War of 1812. Now, my family does War of 1812 historic reenactment, which is why I picked something from that war. And Battle of Lake Erie, I thought was really interesting because I have been up to Put-in Bay, the island, and where like the like memorial is and stuff. And this is where what was he at the time? Anyway, this is where Oliver Hazard Perry. I've now forgotten the line. He said some famous line about. Anyways, but my point of this is that I got like a book from the library about the War of 1812, and I read it, and honestly, it was really interesting. It was really well written. I ended up reading the whole thing. I didn't even just read the part about the Battle of Lake Erie, which is what I needed for the paper. I read the whole book, and it was very interesting. Like, it was well written and entertaining, but still, informative, right? Like, but sometimes things are just so dry, and I just wonder. I mean, there are some things probably. I'm guessing more in terms of like scientific things that it's hard to make them not dry, right? But still, things that relate more to liberal arts, I feel like you should be able to make them more interesting. Like, is this gonna hold my attention? Like, do I want to? Am I gonna want to read this? Like, try not to make it hard for me to want to read this book, especially if it's something that I have to learn about, like it's in a textbook. Like, make it interesting. Make it interesting for me, you know? But yeah, books. I'm thinking of books I have on my bookshelf. Oh, there's a book. Not a super long. It's definitely young adult. Maybe even like, I'd say it would be on the lower end of young adult as opposed to the higher end. You know what I mean? And it's just one little book. It's called The Secret of Platform 13, I think. And honestly, it is such a cute, fun little book. Two more rests before I switch. Secret of Platform 13. There's like a magical hidden world that you can get to through this abandoned subway platform, but only like once every several years. And like the prince of the like hidden away kingdom got kidnapped, and they're trying to get him back. Anyways, it's super cute and fun and lighthearted, and I absolutely adore it. Secret of Platform 13. Not a new book at all. Honestly, I haven't read any new books in a bit. I'd say probably one of the newest books I've read is Red, White, and Royal Blue. I did like that one too. Actually got that one as an ebook. Like, I saw a tweet about it, and then it sounded interesting, so I went and like bought it like right away, and then just read it. Let's see, what other books do I have on my bookshelf? Oh, okay, so there's a book called His Majesty's Dragon, which, the premise of this, okay, it's, I think 1800s. His Majesty's Dragon, I think it's 1800s. And it's, dragons are real, like, in our world, and this is like a historical fantasy novel, right? Like, dragons are real, and there's like an aerial force, like for Britain, and that's the dragons. There are at least 3, which I own them, but I've only read the first one, and that's again another one that I want to get back to. Like, it's really, again, our super interesting premise. Like, I love like, cool worlds and stuff, man. Ugh. Very neat, very neat. Why is it that, like, when I want to talk about books, I just suddenly cannot think of any books at all? Like, all books are gone from my brain. There are no books anymore. They do not exist. Yeah, I guess I can, again, try and go through my head. Things that are on my bookshelf. I mentioned the Hunger Games trilogy before. I do like it. I do think that is well written, and those were very absorbing to me. Another set of books that I really devoured, like quickly, very quickly. Color switching time. That means it's time to drink some water. I don't know. What books do other people like? Alright, books that are... Whoop! Okay, let's just escape. And for some reason... Ooh! Oh, I know some books that I like a whole bunch. Whoop. Let me just switch my thread out here real quick. Bloop. Whoops. Nope, that's not what I want. Whoop. Okay. Percy Jackson and the Olympians. That is an absolutely... Oh my gosh. I love that series so much. Okay, so Percy Jackson and the Olympians, there's 5 books. The first one's called The Lightning Thief. And the premise of those is that, the Greek gods, like the mythology of them, exist today, just like they used to. And how there are stories about, the gods having children with mortals and making demigods. That still happens. And there is a place in New York called Camp Half-Blood, and this is where those demigods spend their summers. And for all of them, it's the whole year. They spend it there training. So because once they hit a certain age, it gets very dangerous for them, and monsters like to seek them out and kill them and get rid of them. That is the very basic setting of the world, and honestly, I absolutely adore like stories and books and stuff that take like mythology and not exactly, sometimes it can be reinvented, but like bring it forward into the modern world, or just look at it in a way that hasn't been looked at before. Oh, I love it so much. Like, rewritten like fairy tales and things like that are really, really cool. Like, oh man. Anyways, Percy Jackson is amazing. The author, Rick Riordan, has written more series in the same world. I haven't read any of those yet. I will eventually get to them. There are so many things on my to-be-read list. Honestly, so many things. But yeah, like the Percy Jackson and Olympian series, definitely worthwhile. I'd recommend it. Anybody that's interested in any sort of fantasy or mythology at all. Like, I don't care. Again, it's young adult, but like, I personally think that most young adult books are for anyone that's interested in reading, you know? Just... there's some really high quality book series out there that I have a feeling some people just kind of miss out on because they dismiss them since they're young adult. And I'm like, listen, I don't have to have a bunch of swearing and there are words I'm not sure I'm allowed to say. Swearing and physically intimate content. I don't need that in my in my books. Not that there's anything wrong with those being in books, right? I don't care about it, you know? Like, I just want my good, interesting story. Romance is great still. Like, I like having romance in my books that I read or write once I actually get anything published. But, like, yeah, that's why, like, I used to, a lot of times when I would, used to go to the library, I would just browse through the young adult section. Because honestly, I was more likely to find something that was going to pique my interest there than trying to randomly browse through the adult section. For one, because the adult section was a lot bigger, so it's a little difficult sometimes to find what you're looking for. And two, I knew I would be likelier to find content that I was interested in, and that didn't have things in it that I didn't care about. But again, nothing wrong with that kind of stuff, just not as much for me. I have read plenty of adult books. I just, a lot of times, tend to lean towards the young adult. And that is a-okay. I think these days, young adult, as a genre, it just sort of gives you an idea of, like, what the general sort of feel of the content is, but it doesn't necessarily mean that it's just for young people, right? I think at this point, most young adult fiction is for anybody that has the sort of interest in, like, whatever the topic is, or genre, things like that. Ooh, Lego. Lego, Lego, Lego. Don't do that. Oh, don't do that to me. I love also, suddenly, again, not being able to think of books, of any books at all. I mentioned Lord of the Rings already. I do like Lord of the Rings. One issue I have, with Two Towers in particular, and this is totally, like, just a product of how he happened to write it. Like, it doesn't mean that it's not a good book, but Two Towers, I enjoy the movie pacing better than I enjoy the book pacing, because in the book of Two Towers, it splits up, like, the separate groups into two entirely separate halves of the book. It's two entirely separate halves of the book, and which means you get a huge, large chunk section of Frodo and Sam, like, slogging through the dead marshes with Gollum, and honestly, it's kind of depressing. Like, the movie pacing in that is better in that you get the intersperts of the bits of the more active things, as opposed to just the awfulness of what Frodo and Sam have to deal with. Because really, it is awful what they have to deal with. Like, truly. Truly awful. Alright, color switching time. That means I get more water. Yay, water. Someone give me books to talk about, because I've just lost. All the books are gone from my head, man, I tell you what. And whoop. Switch. There we go, there we go. Color switching time. Ooh, it's so cute, this little tiny scarf. Look at it. Oh, it's so cute. I love it. Oh, okay. So what year is it? It's 2021. So I'm trying to think about, there was one of the last conventions I went to, I think, was in the end of 2019. I went to Starbase Indie with, I was there with a podcast I'm on, The Established Facts. Go to theestablishedfacts.com if you're interested. We talk about all things gaming. But I was there manning a table, for them, and like across the way from me there was an author, with her books. Anyways, at least one book. And we were sat across from each other like all day, right? But didn't really talk to her or anything. But at the end of the day, as we were like, packing up, I ended up talking to her a little bit. And saw what her book was, and it actually sounded really interesting, so I ended up buying it, and then reading it, and it was a science fiction novel, and it was called Rights of Use. Okay, and I don't remember the author's name, but it was called Rights of Use. And the premise for this science fiction novel, okay, so it's sci-fi. There's like aliens and stuff, but most people don't know about them. And there's like these aliens that can like fuse with a person, right? And like they can sometimes take control of the body, or it can be a symbiotic or more of a parasitic relationship, depending on like what the alien, like what kind of alien the alien is, but they're intelligent, right? And that's what it's rights of use. So it's like it involves like it touches very much on the subject of consent, right? Like consenting to let your body be used in this way, which is a very intimate and deep way, and is actually for the human being or the non. It's irreversible. Like this alien that can live after, but the human being cannot. So, and like that would be the end of the life for the human, right? If like the alien will just be there forever. So they have to, Anyways, it's super interesting, and I liked it a lot. And I think there's going to be more eventually. And I should honestly check up on that and see what the author is doing and if she's written any more. Because she seemed nice, and I liked her book. She signed it for me. I like having things that are signed. That's always fun. On the topic of parasitic aliens. So, alright, we're not going to talk about Twilight, right? However, I did like Twilight a whole lot when I was younger. I can understand the issues that people have with it. I acknowledge those. But I still enjoyed it, and it was, entertaining for me, right? But Stephanie Meyer wrote a novel with not so much of a young adult audience. Not that it's like has super adult themes in it or anything, but it's not young adult. Anyway, it's called The Host. And the tagline for it is a love triangle in two bodies. Which, honestly, I think that's a very clever and interest-catching tagline. And it's, it's sci-fi, right? There's these aliens, and they come and they take over the planet, and they, are, I guess, or you could call them parasitic. Anyways, but yeah, they merge with humans, and they take over the humans entirely, right? So the humans are not there anymore. But the premise of it is that Um, there are a few humans, just a few humans left. They're trying to resist, right? They're hidden away and everything. And one of these humans, she gets caught, and an alien gets put inside her, but the human is not drowned out entirely. Like, the alien can still hear her. And the alien ends up, like, remembering things, and eventually ends up, like, talking to her and stuff, and yeah, they eventually end up going and trying to find the humans again, like, find the people that the humans had lost and stuff. It's, again, another really interesting premise, and I really liked it a lot, and honestly, I've reread that one several times. They made a movie out of it as well, out of The Host. I did like the movie. Like, there are some things about it they changed. I was kind of like, meh. But, you know, as with any book to movie adaptation, there are going to be issues. Like, there are just just any time, every time. But I do like The Host, and it's just like a standalone novel, right? You don't have to worry about finding sequels or anything like that. I did like that one a lot. And it is sci-fi, but it is definitely a romance. Excuse me. It's definitely a romance as well. Definitely. And, you know, I do like romance. I don't, however, as much as I like romance, I do not tend to read things that are, like, just romances. Like, that's, like, the main point of the book. I don't tend to do that as much. No, that's fine. Like, I like when the books have romance in them, but not necessarily as much when it's just, like, when that's, like, the main, like, plot point and premise of the story. I never was a big, straight, like, romance novel reader, you know? Again, not that there's anything wrong with those kind of books. They definitely have their value. It just wasn't so much for me. Like, again, I love romance. Romance is great and amazing. But I like it to not be the main plot point of the story. You know? Gosh, now, all I can think about is, like, a story that I'm working on writing, and I'm like, that is not done. That's not like a book that's done and published that you can just talk about. That's ridiculous. You know what is a book that I have on my shelf that I have not read yet is Jurassic Park. I think I found it at Goodwill or something one time, and I was like, I think this might be interesting to read. But then I just never read it. For some reason. There are a lot of things like that. Ooh, speaking of books that I like. Okay. Alright, so, my family, when I was younger, because, like, we worked at Conner Prairie, which is a living history museum here in Indiana, and we did also the War of 1812 historical reenactment. We were interested in historical things, so we liked Jane Austen, and we watched a whole lot of movies based off of Jane Austen books, which means I have seen so many different movie versions of different Jane Austen books. I would say probably I've seen the most Pride and Prejudice, but, you know, multiple Emmas and Sense and Sensibilities and the other ones too, whose names I can't remember, right? But I had seen many versions of Pride and Prejudice. I think the first Jane Austen book I read was actually Emma, which, you know, I did like it. It was good, but it was also maybe a little bit dry for me. So I wasn't too keen on reading other Jane Austen books. But then finally, I think actually around the time that Pride and Prejudice and Zombies was coming out, because I thought that was funny, and I was kind of interested in reading that, and I was like, well, I should actually read Pride and Prejudice first before I read Pride and Prejudice and Zombies, the sort of parody of it. Not exactly parodies, not... Anyways. So I finally got Pride and Prejudice, and I read it, and wow, I liked it way more than I thought I was going to. Like, way more. Like... like... I personally thought Pride and Prejudice was better than Emma. And you got to see things that I didn't know you could see. Like, some insights into Mr. Darcy that I didn't even know, like, just from the movies. I didn't know that you got those in the book. Right? Like... And it's not even, like, super long or anything. At least I don't feel like it is. Two more rests. Yeah, but so I really enjoyed Pride and Prejudice. And that leads me to why I thought of it also is Pride and Prejudice and Zombies. Okay, so I don't like zombies. Right? I don't. If there's like just like a movie that's like a zombie movie, no, I'm probably not gonna watch it, right? Because it's gonna be scary and icky, and I hate the general sort of concept of zombies. Like, I hate it. Like, it's awful. It's scary and creepy, and just the idea of like, at least sort of the general, like, you can be infected and like, ugh, no, I don't like it. Creeps me out. Creeps me out. But I still wanted to read Pride and Prejudice and Zombies. I kind of thought, I was like, okay, they're just gonna put zombies into Pride and Prejudice and just sort of leave it as it is. However, the author of this book did an absolutely stellar job, I think, of not only putting zombies into the story of Pride and Prejudice, but like entirely changing and rewriting the world. You know, still the same time zone and everything. Time zone. Still the same, you know, time frame, the same historical era, right? But like changing it so that it wasn't like there was a zombie outbreak in the middle of like the story of Pride and Prejudice. It is a world where zombies have been around for a while. Right? Like, zombies have been a thing for quite some time. So it is part of the society. So, like, all the girls, like Elizabeth and Jane, and they went, like, to another country and trained in, like, martial arts and, like, fighting and stuff so that they could, like, defend themselves against zombies. It really is like there's like a dojo, and oh, it's so cool that it still keeps like the basic tenets of the way that Elizabeth and Darcy interact, but it also just the culture is different. Like, it's really cool. It's really cool. Like, cooler than I thought it was going to be. And again, the movie on that... the Pride and Prejudice and Zombies movie, honestly... not that it was inherently bad as a movie. It was entertaining enough, but not a great book-to-movie adaptation because they changed things. They made there be an antagonist in a way that there wasn't in the book. Like, in Pride and Prejudice and Zombies, it was still focused, in the book, it was still focused on... okay, it was still focused on Elizabeth Bennet and Mr. Darcy, and, you know, how their interactions happened, and how they fall in love and eventually get together and stuff, but just in the setting of a world where zombies existed. In the movie, while the romance and everything was still there was also more of a direct antagonistic plot related to the zombies, and I was like, okay, I can see why for a movie you would do that, but I was kind of like, Speaking, again, not a bad movie. Speaking of bad book-to-movie adaptations, I'm just gonna briefly bring up The Lightning Thief, Percy Jackson and the Olympians, and say, why? Why would you do that to such a great book? Why would you do that? I do not appreciate that. No. Don't appreciate that at all. Do not appreciate that. Lightning Thief, I have to say again, as the movie itself wasn't horrible or anything, it had entertainment value, Absolutely one of the worst book-to-movie adaptations I have ever seen. Just so awful. So awful. It was like they took, characters and some sort of, plot setting points thing and just shoved them all together in their own sort of story, and I was like, I am sorry, Rick Riordan, that they did this to you. However, I am so excited. I forget who has picked it up, but someone has picked up Percy Jackson and the Olympians for a series, and Rick Riordan is going to be well involved, and I am so excited for seeing that on whichever I forget which streaming service picked it up, but I'm really excited for whenever that eventually comes out. The Lightning Thief book or movie. One beef I had with it, unrelated to the fact that it's a bad book-to-movie adaptation. This is Greek mythology and stuff. This is summertime, right? These kids are at a summer camp. They go down to the underworld to see Hades, and in the movie, Persephone is there in the summertime. And as someone that knows even a little bit about Greek mythology, I'm like, bro, listen. You can't have Persephone be in the underworld in the middle of summer. That's not how that works. Alright? That's not how that works. Nope. No. Don't do that. Anyways. Books. Oh, this is a bit of a different kind of a book, but I super like. Okay, so I don't know if anyone has ever heard of Dinotopia. Okay, I know my family has heard of Dinotopia. But the first Dinotopia is it's just called Dinotopia. I guess you could kind of call it a picture book, but also I would not call it a picture book. It is this absolutely gorgeous and stunning illustrated book, as in there are illustrations on every page, and they cover the whole pages and everything. But it's not like a kid's picture book, right? It's this just illustrated, gorgeous novel of this. It's set kind of back somewhere, maybe 1800s, I'm not sure exactly. And this father and son, they get shipwrecked, and they land on this island called Dinotopia. And, dinosaurs are there. And human beings, and they interact and talk, and the dinosaurs are intelligent, generally. It is... Oh my gosh. It is It's so gorgeously illustrated, and the premise is so interesting, and the world is so cool. Like, oh my gosh, the world of Dinotopia is amazing and gorgeous, and I want to live in Tree Town. Okay, I love tree houses. Okay, and then this is like a treehouse town. It's like flippin' Lothlorien in Lord of the Rings, and oh gosh, what are other tree? For the Ewoks, in Star Wars, man. I love tree houses and like treehouse villages and towns, and they're all interconnected tree houses. And I would probably like hate to actually be in them because skites. I went to say heights scare me, but I just said skites instead. Heights scare me. So I would probably be quite scared. but I love tree houses and the way they look and treehouse towns. And anyways, Dinotopia is absolutely gorgeous. And I own it, and the second one, which is also like gorgeously illustrated novel, I guess. It's called The World Beneath. They also did like books, like chapter books, you know. Some that I think were more aimed at kids and like adult, like bigger chapter novels too. Anyways, Dinotopia is so cool. They did like a mini series of Dinotopia once, and it was kind of cool, but they like put it in the modern world and just didn't do the same characters. They just kind of took like the settings, and I was just kind of like, I'm not so much. It wasn't super, like, it was a little disappointing, honestly. Like, I feel like it could have been so much better. But, c'est la vie. These things happen. You know, it is difficult to bring books to life in ways that excuse me, that big fans of the books will really appreciate. It really is. Oh, that makes me think of another book. Okay. Holes. I don't know who's read Holes. Anyway, there's this kid that gets picked up for stealing something that he didn't actually steal, and instead of, you know, going to like the prison system or whatever, he gets sent off to this camp where they dig holes as character building. And I really like the book. It's really good. And they made a movie out of it. Just a quick hi before the kids' bedtime. Hi Dahlia. That's my sister, guys. My big sister. Yeah, but Holes is a really good book. I really like it. And the movie adaptation of Holes is... oh, chef's kiss. So good. So good. The movie, like, read the book, watch the movie. This is really good. Not at all new, obviously. The book actually has Shia LaBeouf. The movie actually has Shia LaBeouf in it. But it's a really good book to movie adaptation. Like, I really liked it a whole lot. Is this messed up? No? Okay. Don't be messed up, thing, please. Be good. Okay, there we go. But yeah. Holes, good book. Good movie adaptation of a book. I really liked it a lot. Worth your time. And it's not super long, you know. It's a young adult kids book. I'd say a bit younger rather than older, right? But it's still quite good. Definitely worth your time. All I can think of now is like movies. We're not talking about movies today. We're talking about books. Well. Oh, speaking of book to movie adaptations. Okay, listen. So Artemis Fowl, right? Super amazing book. Disney made a movie. I watched it with my husband. He liked it. He thought it was entertaining. I did think it was entertaining and I liked it. However, not a great book to movie adaptation. Sorry to disappoint you if you've read Artemis Fowl and heard that there was a movie and were super excited like I was. Don't get your hopes up too high. It's a fun movie. I like how they depict, the world, the underground world where the fairies live. It looks really cool. Just not the best. Not the best book to movie adaptation either. Again, that happens a lot. I get disappointed a lot in that way. But, you know. Color switching time, which means it's water. Time for water. Yummy. Bloop. Oop, hello. Oop, don't mess up. There we go. We're good. Alrighty. Books. What books shall I talk about next? Come here. Why is it that I just can't think of books right now? Oh, I remember reading a really interesting book once. I read it more than once. I might own it. I don't remember. I think it was called Downsiders. Yeah. Downsiders. And I think it was New York. But there was this whole other world, this other culture of people that lived in the, underside of the city. In the old, forgotten subway tunnels and stuff. And it was literally, there was this huge whole culture and everything. That was a good book. That was interesting, man. Again, I think almost every single book I've mentioned today has been a young adult book, but that doesn't mean they're not absolutely fantastic books still. Because they are. They really are. Just absolutely fantastic books. I wonder if I own that one. Do I own Downsiders? I cannot remember. I'm trying to think what the last book I actually read was. I cannot remember. I can't remember. What? No, I definitely can't. It might have been a graphic novel, honestly. The last book I read may have been a graphic novel. Which is nothing wrong with that. Those are also fun. There's this one webcomic. Well, I read lots of webcomics. I read called Space Boy. And it's being turned into graphic novels. And it's really good, and I love it so much. You can find them on Amazon. Space Boy, Stephen McCraney. They're super good. Super good. Premise of that is it's sci-fi, right? It's futuristic. I don't know if they set a specific year, but anyways. It's this girl that lives out on a mining station. And with her, she's a kid. Or a teenager. And then something happens, there's an accident, in the mine on this, asteroid or wherever. And it wasn't really her dad's fault, but someone has to take the blame, so he takes the blame, and loses his job, which means they actually have to leave the asteroid and go back to Earth. Which means that, they have to get frozen and travel the 30 years back to Earth. So, her best friend, by the time she gets back, is grown up, right? Is an adult. And then, she meets a boy who's interesting. And I won't say any more, because it'll just spoil it. But it's a really cool world, and like, just the technology they have makes absolute sense. They have these, everybody has these, like, glasses, and, like, all augmented reality is very common. Like, that's what the glasses are for, and they're part of, like, school and everything even. It's very cool. It's very cool. Space Boy. I can't remember how many are out so far. 6, 7, 8? I don't remember. I think I have the next one on my Amazon wish list. And it's not even out yet. I always try. I have to remember when I think of something that I want to not just immediately buy it and put it on my wish list instead, so that, like, my family actually knows, like, something that they could get me, like, for my birthday or whatever. Oh boy. You know. I feel like the older you get, excuse me, sometimes the harder it can be to, like, do presents. You know what I mean? Oh man. It's hard sometimes to know what to get somebody. Like, we're grown adults, we have dwellings full of stuff already. Like, what more do we need? Which is why, again, if I think of something that I like, I try and not immediately buy it for myself, and instead put it on a list so that my family has options when they want to buy me presents. Oh man. Alright, books. Why can I just not think of books right now? Like, that's rude. Self? Books. Wow, my mind has gone blank. I don't know any books anymore. Ooh, okay, I know. This may not be necessarily the normal thing, but I own several, and I really like reading. I like reading Shakespeare. I like reading the comedies, okay, because I like happy endings. And I know there are plays, which is slightly different than, like, books, but I like Shakespeare. Like, when I was a kid, well, I was homeschooled, but we did a significant sort of study. We did Shakespearean stuff, but we did, we focused a lot for a bit on A Midsummer Night's Dream, so that is, I'd say, one of my favorite of Shakespeare's plays, of the comedies, which I like the comedies the best because, again, like I said, I like a happy ending. And so we read Midsummer Night's Dream. I've seen a lot of different movie versions of it, and like recordings of plays of it. I've seen it on stage at least once. I can't remember if I've seen it more than once or not. At least once. It was performed at Butler here in Indianapolis. That was ages and ages ago. So I like A Midsummer Night's Dream. If you have issues with reading Shakespeare, like, get one of those ones that has, like, on one page it has, like, the text of Shakespeare, and then on the other page it has sort of the, like, modern translation, because I do think they are still definitely worth reading. And the more you read them, the more you are able to understand that type of English and, like, the way he phrases things, and what some words means that you wouldn't necessarily know before. Midsummer Night's Dream I like a lot. Much Ado About Nothing is absolutely lovely. Also, for a while, my favorite, like, movie or visual I had seen of Much Ado About Nothing was the Kenneth Branagh one. The one that has Keanu Reeves as the bad guy. And it is still quite good, but now, now. Again, it's been a while. My absolute favorite version of Much Ado About Nothing that I have seen is the recording of the play, the live theatrical play of Much Ado About Nothing with David Tennant and Catherine Tate playing Benedict and Beatrice. Okay. Oh, it's so good. Just their interactions are so amazing. If you have seen Doctor Who, if you have seen David Tennant with Donna, that's Catherine Tate. Like, it's absolutely so good, so good, so good. It's long, and I'm not even sure if I would be able to find it anymore because it was on like some digital like theater website, but it was so good. Yes. I also like Twelfth Night. There's this one movie called She's the Man, which is actually based off of Twelfth Night. And I own that, and I've actually watched it so many times. Like, for some reason, that's a movie that I can just, like, rewatch over and over again. It has Channing Tatum in it and Amanda Bynes. It's really good. It's like, it's based off Twelfth Night, but it's like, you know, high school and soccer. I think one of my least favorite of Shakespeare's comedies is Taming of the Shrew. Just because some of the vibes that it gives us off are... like, I kind of understand what it's getting at, but then it's also a little bit like... Again, Taming of the Shrew, like... because a woman is outspoken and she has to be... anyways, I'm not gonna get into that. I'm not gonna get into that. But... Two more, Rose. I do really like, for play adaptations, Taming of the Shrew, 10 Things I Hate About You, baby. Give me that Heath Ledger, like some classic Heath Ledger. Shakespeare adaptations that you wouldn't know they were Shakespeare unless you knew they were Shakespeare, you know what I mean? 10 Things I Hate About You, super good, super great. Love it. But yeah. I read a reimagining, like a rewriting of Hamlet once, which actually gives them a happy ending. And the way it does that is by the deaths are faked, like Ophelia's death is faked with this, you know, drink that makes it look like she's dead. And then at the end of it, she's like, I should write and tell my friend Juliet about this. And you're like, doesn't work out so well for Juliet. Sorry, Ophelia. That was an interesting book. I don't remember what it was called. But it was a good book. Oh boy. I still marvel at how many versions of Midsummer Night's Dream I've seen. Very good, very good. Also, again, how much Jane Austen I've seen, it's absolutely, like, mind-boggling how many different versions of Jane Austen I've seen. Psh, so much, so many. Wow. Again, why can I not think of books? Oh, I know. Chronicles of Narnia. Yes. Yes, I love the Chronicles of Narnia. Oh, man. And the movies were doing good. And I was sad that they stopped when they did. That would have been really cool, I think. Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. Ah, man. So good. So good. And yeah, I feel like there are I think some people these days, like, go to the Chronicles of Narnia and they think that they're supposed to read them in chronological order, like starting with The Magician's Nephew. And I'm like, oh my goodness, no, do not do that. You read them in, I think, the order they were written, which starts with The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, and then, Lion, Witch, and Wardrobe, Prince Caspian, Voyage of the Dawn Treader, Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, Prince Caspian, Voyage of the Dawn Treader, Horse and His Boy, or Magician's Nephew is in there somewhere. And then the last one, which I've forgotten what the last Chronicles of Narnia book is called. I think that's all of them. I could definitely be wrong, but I think that is all of them. Mal. Hello, Mal, my friend. I hope you are doing super, super good today. I'm talking about books, but I have forgotten all of the books that I have ever read. And I cannot think of any books. So, if you want to talk about any books, bring them up, and I can tell you if I've read them or not. It is color switching time. Which... The silver chair! Yes! Oh my gosh, I forgot about the silver chair. The silver chair comes after the Voyage of the Dawn Treader. And again, I don't remember where exactly in there Magician's Nephew is supposed to be. But it's in there somewhere. Silver chair is funky. Books. I do like books and reading. Man, I have so many books on my, like, to be read, like, or want to read list on Goodreads. So many. I mean, you know, I want to get to them eventually, but there really just are a lot of books on the list. Like, a lot. Yeah. You could probably find me on Goodreads, honestly. The Chronicles of Narnia is so good. Yeah. Agreed. I really like the Chronicles of Narnia. And, you know, those aren't, like, super long or anything. Oh, and that's what it's called. The Last Battle. I forgot what it was called. Thank you, Mal. Mal, my friend, who I hope to see, but probably not for, like, at least a month. It's gonna be like a month until I'm, like, fully vaccinated, so... We'll get there. But yeah, last battle. Oh, but yes, I mentioned Lord of the Rings earlier, but I did not mention The Hobbit. And The Hobbit is absolutely fantastic. Of course, we love The Hobbit so much. Now, if you have seen the movies and not read the book, then don't be surprised when there are things in the book that are not, or things in the movie that are not in the book. Okay? But listen. The Hobbit is such a good book. Also, if Lord of the Rings is daunting for you, right? If Lord of the Rings is intimidating, which it definitely can be, because that's a lot of book. A lot of books. A lot of words there. The Hobbit is not so many words. It's not quite so thick and complicated. It was started with him telling it as a story to his kids, I think. Right? Like J.R.R. Tolkien. Hobbit is definitely worthwhile to read. However, I love the Hobbit movie trilogy so much. Also, things in there that were not in the book. Some of them are definitely like things that are in like J.R.R. Tolkien's lore. Like other things that he's written, like about the world and the history and stuff. Yeah, Magician's Nephew, Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, Horse and His Boy, Prince Caspian, Silver Chair, Voyage of the Dawn Treader. That's all of them, yes. And the order that you should read them in starts with Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. Then it's Prince Caspian. Then it's the Voyage of the Dawn Treader. Then it's Silver Chair. Magician's Nephew is in there somewhere. I just don't know where exactly. And then Last Battle is, of course, last. They're good stuff. Good stuff. I forgot Horse and His Boy, but yes. That would be chronological order. Yes, but that is not the order that I personally think you should read them in. Because I think that you get more out of, like, The Magician's Nephew, and also Silver Chair is definitely after Voyage of the Dawn Treader. I know it's a prequel, which is why I think that you should, but I still think you should read it after, because I think it means more to you if you have already read The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe before you read The Magician's Nephew. Like, I think you get a lot more out of it, personally. But everyone can do as they please. Yeah. Bloop. Oi. Don't get twisted here, little buddy, little dude, little thread. But yeah, Dawn Treader is before Silver Chair. Yes. I haven't read those in a while. It's kind of funny. The copies, the only copies I have of Chronicles of Narnia are like ones that my parents gave me, and they're ones that they had for a while, so they're kind of old. So I almost feel kind of bad reading them because they're not in the best shape. I have them though. Has anyone read, like, C.S. Lewis's, like, the Space Trilogy? Those are some funky books, man. I tell you what. Funky books. I actually only read the first two and not the third one. And I forget what they're called. But, you know. They were good and interesting, but also, like I said, kind of weird. Not gonna lie. I think one of them is called Paralandra. Oh, I just thought of another book because it's on my bookshelf. I just forgot. Wow, I thought of another book and then I immediately forgot it. Good job, Avital. Good job. Let's just, yeah. Really, Avital. Okay, it's Madeleine L'Engle. A later one in the series is called A Swiftly Tilting Planet. And they made a movie out of the first one, and I haven't seen the movie, and I just forgot what it's called. What? What is it called? Does anyone remember? I don't remember at all. Wind in the Door is one of them, I think. Wow, what are those books by Madeleine L'Engle? I gotta ask Google. Madeleine L'Engle. A Wrinkle in Time. A Wrinkle in Time, and then A Wind in the Door, A Swiftly Tilting Planet, Many Waters, and An Acceptable Time. Okay, A Wrinkle in Time. A Wrinkle in Time. That's what it's called. I can't remember if I've read all of those. I've read several of them, but I can't remember if I read all. A Wrinkle in Time is good and funky. Funky book. But it's good. It's good. Wrinkle in Time. That's on my shelf. And they made a movie version of that, and I wanted to see it, but I didn't want to watch the movie until I had reread the book. But I didn't have the book at the time. And so I never saw the movie. I still do want to reread A Wrinkle in Time and then watch the movie. Because I'm curious. I want to see what it's like. How it is as a book-to-movie adaptation, you know? Yeah, Wrinkle in Time is good. And, oh, I lost it. Come back. Wrinkle in Time is definitely good. Are we? It is indeed color switching time. Water time also, because water is important. Hydrate, guys. Cheers. Have some water. Have some water, y'all. Have some water. It's important. Hail hydrate. Or as my friend Radio Kyle would say, hashtag water gang. Water gang, baby. Radio Kyle is playing Valheim tonight with, I think, Mykopolis. Maybe Big Poppy? I'm not sure. But I'll be sending you over to Kyle when he starts streaming at 8. Got about 30 more minutes to hang out with me and talk about books. But, you know, like I said, I can't think of any books. You know what? This is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna pull up my Goodreads. Pull up my Goodreads, y'all. My books. Read. This is really funny. The last read book, my last book that I have read on here is Minecraft Combat Handbook. That was because after, like, the first time I played Minecraft with my nephew, I was so bad. He was like, you need to read this book so you can be better at Minecraft. Oh, it's really funny. Oh my gosh. Why? That was the last book that's like my completed. There's a couple books that I am like in the process of reading at the moment, but they're not done yet. So that's my last read book. That's really funny. Anyways, let me look at my read list. Wow. I've got Complete Idiot's Guide to NBA Basics, Idiot's Guide to Environmental Science, The Vanishing People, Fairy Lore and Legends, Fairies, the Myths, Legends, and Lore, The Science of Fairy Tales, and an Inquiry into Fairy Mythology. All those books, those names that I just read, I read those for research on the book that the story that I'm writing right now. Like, all of the things that I've read recently are things that I've mentioned to you guys already. My goodness. Wow. Wow. Oh, here's one. My mom recommended this book to me. She actually lent it to me. I think I read it on a plane. It's called Arrows. It's by Melissa. What is this? I don't know how to say this last name. It's Gorzelanczyk. It's called Arrows. And that was a good book. And that was an interesting telling of like a Cupid. That was really neat. That was really cool. I liked that one a lot. It was good. It was quite good. Quite good. What else? I've got lots of Hanakimi, which is a manga. Oh, there's His Majesty's Dragon. Beautiful creatures, I remember that. Oh, okay, here's the author. Rights of Use. It's in the Project Black Book. I think is like the series. It's by Shannon Eichhorn. Eichhorn. It's Eichhorn. If in case you're interested, Rights of Use is a good book. Sci-fi, aliens, consent, things like that. It's a good one. Oh, there's one. Beastly by Alex Flynn, like Flinn. Beastly. Now they made a movie out of that one as well. Beastly is a retelling of, guess what? Beauty and the Beast. And obviously I don't need to tell you the premise for that, but it's set, more like more modern times, and maybe New York. That's a good one. It's good. I did like that one. They made a movie of that as well, and I like that one a lot too. They did change a little bit, but I still think it was pretty good. Pretty good. Oh, here's one. Ender's Game. Yeah? Who's read Ender's Game, huh? Orson Scott Card. That is a good one. Sci-fi. Kid, very smart, to go and like train in this like interesting space station thing. Anyway, Ender's Game is good. There's a whole bunch in the whole series of Ender's Game, but I actually haven't read any of them, honestly. Speaker for the Dead is one of them. But yeah, no, I have read 0 of them. Not any at all. Sorry. Ender's Game is really good though, and if you just want to read Ender's Game, and not read any more, then well, Ender's Game is great. It's not like there's like a cliffhanger at the end of Ender's Game that makes you want to read the other books or whatever, which I have seen sometimes, which I find kind of annoying. Like, I can understand like leaving, like having there be like some open things, but okay, depending on the type of book and whatever. Like, actual cliffhangers is kind of annoying if the other book is not, like, out already to me. I don't know. A little bit annoying, it's fine, it's fine. But yeah, Ender's Game is quite good. Quite good. Definitely read that. They did make a movie of that as well. As for adaptations go, okay, I'm sure they changed some things, but I still think it was pretty good movie adaptation of a book. Like, I liked it. I'm streaming right now, guys. My friends that are going to be streaming at 8 have started the call already, and it popped up, and I was like, wait, what? And I was like, oh, no, sorry, can't join right now, guys. I'm streaming myself. But yeah, they're going to be streaming Valheim, which is, like a game you can play cooperatively, so they're in a call. I was just, like, really confused for a second, like, what? What? Alright, books. Books. There are several books about dragons, because I was, making the first game I ever ran, and it involved dragons. Here's a book, Ready Player One. Ready Player One is an absolutely fantastic book. And if you have not read it, I highly recommend it. It's by Ernest Cline, like C-L-I-N-E. They also made a movie out of it, which just changed some things, but it's still pretty good. But the book is really, really, really good. Okay, they changed a lot of things, but I can understand why, because there are so many references to different pop culture things, and there is no way that they could get like the licensing on all of those things to actually have them in the movie, which I can understand. Books are different than movies in that way, and I can totally understand that. But Ready Player One, the book, is really, really good, and I saw that like after quite a while, there's actually going to be like he's coming out with another one with Ready Player Two, which I'm really excited about. Like for whenever that comes out, I didn't know there was ever going to be a sequel, but yeah, I'm definitely excited to read Ready Player Two whenever it comes out. Like for sure, for sure, for sure. But yeah. Oh, I forgot that I read Dances with Wolves. I think I read it because someone recommended it. It was good. I was just like I hadn't read it for like a long time, you know? Like it was had been out a long time, you know what I mean? Oh, Frankenstein. Yeah, I read Frankenstein, that's for sure. That is for sure. I do recommend reading things like that, like classics like Frankenstein. I personally don't even think like it's that long of a book, right? Like I think it didn't take me that long to get through, you know? Like, hi, it is Liam. Hi, Liam! How you doing, buddy? Did you do anything interesting at school today, Liam, huh? But yeah, let's see. Books I've read. Oh, there we go. Books that I definitely recommend are the Dragon Riders of Pern books by Anne McCaffrey. That world is amazing. Like like absolutely beautiful and lovely, and oh my gosh. Just like the dragons, and like with the way the dragon riders like they have like candidates, and then like when the dragons hatch, like only one person like is like linked to a specific dragon, and they have like a mental bond. And anyways, it's really 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 cool. Like, oh man, it's really cool. Really cool. Extraordinarily cool. For sure. Definitely the I forget what the first Dragon Riders of Pern novel is called. It might be like Dragon Flight or something like that. I am not certain, honestly. Now, Dragon Riders of Pern is one that a series, and there are a ton of books in this series, right? And they go from all kinds of different viewpoints and everything. But Dragon Riders of Pern by Anne McCaffrey, or that's the series, right? And it's by Anne McCaffrey. It's definitely a series that you want to like look up a list of published order, and definitely read them from published order, and don't do chronological, because otherwise a lot of things won't make sense and won't mean as much to you. Alright, so definitely, I would definitely recommend that. It is a big long series you could get into. However, you could just read like the first trilogy and then be, you know, okay, cool, right? And be done with it if you felt like it. Or even just the first one, honestly, if you really wanted to. But it's good. It's quite good. Two more lines of this color. Alright. Trying to... Okay, there's a book I read. The Dangerous Days of Daniel X. James Patterson and Michael Ledwid something. Anyways, Dangerous Days of Daniel X. That's a young adult series. I forget how many there are. It's interesting. He's some kind of alien, I guess, and has like sort of like creation type powers. It's a very interesting premise. But yeah, it's a young adult series. I like that one. I remember I started listening to it as an audiobook with my sister on a trip one time, and then I didn't get back to it for a long time. I think maybe because I kind of forgot about it. I don't remember. But it was good. It was good. I'm getting hungry again. I had a banana and like some chicken salad, like before streaming. But it wasn't like a huge amount of food, so like I'm already getting hungry again. It's fine though. It's fine. Book, book. Oh, there's Pride and Prejudice and Zombies again, yep. Some of these books I don't even remember reading. These are on my read list on, hold on one second. Hello? Kyle, I'm streaming. What's up?
Avi,
What?
Oh, hello. Well, we're trying to get the stream running. Avi, you in the call too, homie? Hi, homie.
I saw the call start, but I'm streaming. And I'm, I'm waiting, and then like I'm waiting for you to start streaming so then I can like send my stream over to your stream and then you can
Join us.
Well, hold on. Let me hang up on my phone. 1 second. 1 second. I'm hanging up on the phone. 1 second.
Yeah, don't worry about it, homie. Just trying to get this shit all together.
All right, you guys prepare. I'm just connecting because you should get started soon, and then I can stop streaming.
Okay. Avi just joins us. I'm still on this.
All right, I'm disconnecting from my phone. 1 second. Hold on 1 second, guys. I'm turning the music off and opening up Discord. Isn't this exciting, guys?
Armor is
Hello?
Avi?
That's me.
Avi!
I figured, I might as well just talk to you guys while I knit and finish up my stream while you guys get started.
Are you sure about that? I'm pretty offensive.
What'd you say?
Are you sure about that? I'm pretty offensive.
Well, can you be not offensive for like 10 minutes?
We are only offensive to each other.
Yes.
Alright, well...
Also, Avi, you interrupted us playing with our dicks.
Yes, thank you.
Okay. 10 minutes. That's all I ask.
I know
Hello,
you.
stream.
Hello, my 8-year-old nephew.
Oh. Uh-oh.
My man.
He might be watching. It's possible. My sister has it open on the computer, and then sometimes he'll hop on and type stuff and be like, "Hi, it's Liam."
I am not responsible for G-rated content.
I'm not responsible for G-rated content either.
This is why most of the time, if I was gonna play Valheim with you guys, then I wouldn't stream probably. I would just be I'd be just it. I mean, I may eventually play, right? But
you would just be here,
I'd just be
giving us some bullshit.
Yeah. Oh man.
Oh my goodness.
But yes, I'm
That's-
I'm just knitting right now. It's
Is it-
exciting.
How is your knitting going?
It's going well. It's going well. I'm knitting a tiny scarf to
A
put.
tiny scarf.
Yeah, it's for this. I made the little Among Us character plushie.
Yeah, I saw it on your
Yeah.
Facebook.
Uh-huh. And it's like Sykkuno-themed, like he's a streamer. And
Hey.
yeah, and this is like his scarf, so I'm gonna make the scarf for the little plushie.
Oh, well, that's very cute.
It's a very small scarf.
Heckin' small scarf.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like, it has to be, like, long enough to go all the way around the little plushie, which includes the
Right.
backpack, the oxygen tank on the back. But,
Because who needs oxygen?
I mean, technically
Not-
not a plushie, but, you know, a crewmate.
I say Mike's like, not me. I just want to die.
That's where we're at. That's where we're at right now.
Oh, Mike, no.
How are things going, setup wise? What's going on over there, guys?
I'm just chilling right now. I haven't set up my stream at all. I probably should.
It's have I been on the record, and it's not during Avital's stream, but during our streams. So I just love how Mike just starts his stream and goes, "Hey, how's it going? We're starting."
Hey, I'm here.
Hey, I'm
And then
here.
by the time- and it's the same for how he ends it too. He goes, "Okay, bye."
Well, I mean, like, Kyle, you have, like, a very,
You know,
a thing that you
extremely
do
long.
at the beginning.
I know. I'm sure.
I'm like,
shortening it up.
please stop talking for a minute. So like, all of you, like, you're just like, hey, that's Radio Kyle here. We got coffee, we got merchandise, we got all this shit. Please come watch us. I'm like, whoa. I'm like, hold up,
It's a
that's a
show.
lot.
It's a production here at Radio Kyle.
It is
I mean,
not a
we're-
production. You slap on your face and you play games shittily. You don't even build a house.
You slap on your face? Do you not have a face normally, Kyle? I swear I've
No.
seen it. Like, I see it,
No,
like,
I-
every day, mostly.
No, I actually just I actually just go around and I slap my face on. If you ever seen like a really bad Hanna-Barbera cartoon, it's like that.
That's basically how Kyle runs his show. And he goes, this is a production. Nope, you're just sitting there playing games, buddy. It's not a production until you have a script.
It's it. This is a production, and it's all. As long as I call it a production, god damn it.
We got Kyle over here like, this is my show. I'm like, no, it's all of ours. Get off your high horse.
It's a,
I mean, you
for
know,
one goddamn second.
it's like, your stream is your show. However,
When you're with other people, it's everyone's.
exactly.
We're all there.
nope.
And Kyle treats it like, it's all mine. Don't worry, guys. I'll be the brunt, even though you're just walking around talking about your life story, not even doing anything interesting. While Poppy and I are fighting trolls.
That is my interesting content, because someone has to fill the airtime.
I mean,
Well, maybe you can go on adventures. Maybe you can do something interesting and actually finish a house.
I do something interesting. It's me dying by a neck.
Yeah, and that's so sad. Because we're well past that point. The most interesting thing on your stream was the fucking elder.
It was great. I went on a whole wilderness expedition while y'all are going like, oh, we're gonna do some dungeons and shit.
I mean, you know, content, like, everybody's content is different, right? Like, I'm sitting here knitting, okay? So, just knitting, like, that's not exciting. So, like, I decided, I was like, that today I was gonna talk about books.
Yeah, you were talking about
Yeah.
the right way to read the Chronicles of Narnia.
Yes, I was.
Yeah, I was talking with Malin, and she was just like, yeah, I was talking to Avi.
Hey, you can do it however you like. It's more like that's my preferred way, right?
Right. Well,
You know what I
never
mean.
personally read the books.
They're good. The movies were good. Were well done too. I was just sad they stopped.
I only watched the first one and then didn't know that they made sequels.
They made, I think they did 2 more. Yeah. I can't remember. I can't remember if I'm thinking of like the old Chronicles of Narnia because there was like a much older like British versions. I can't remember.
Oh, Jiminy. Poppy!
Can you guys hear me?
No.
I hear you. Well, yeah, you need to turn up just a little bit.
How about
I'm
now?
streaming, by the way.
No.
It's not better?
No, I'm just making fun of you now.
Oh, great.
Wow.
You know, that's Mike's thing. He
Poppy,
just-
Avi's streaming. Say the most offensive things you can say.
Please don't. My 8-year-old nephew might be listening.
Avi,
Teach him
love your
young.
streams.
Thank you.
That's blasphemous.
Damn, that was the most offensive thing I've ever heard.
Then we have our streams where Poppy's just like, I'm gonna say what the fuck I want.
I know, and that's
I have
And-
never
and
said
that's how it
anything
works,
offensive
like-
in my whole life.
That's a lie.
Yeah, I already like make my streams more wholesome than at least Kyle's, simply because I try to not swear, because it is very likely that my family and nephew are going to be watching. Okay.
I am
I
the
just have no
character at
self-respect
Radio
anymore.
Kyle.
What'd you say, Kyle? Sorry.
I am the character at Radio Kyle, and I expect everyone just to roast me in the chat, and that's every day. I just pray that I see some good roasts.
The only roasts that come in are from me.
I mean, and that's the sad part.
I mean, you saw our Discord just now when I was roasting him about his ego.
I did not actually see that because I am streaming and not super active on my phone. It was just when like the active the active call popped up from Kyle. I was like, wait, what?
Oh, the active call from Kyle you answered, but when I call, it's like, oh, fuck this guy.
Well, I was like, I didn't know who it was from. It just said it was like a whole call is starting like in the group chat, and I was like, okay. And then like Kyle's calling you. I was like, does he need me for something? I don't know.
Yes,
get
I
that
need
whole
you
fuck Mikey
specifically.
attitude.
Even though I am not playing Valheim, you need my moral
We should
support.
change that there, Avi. We need to
Yeah,
change
we'll get
that.
there. We'll get there. I just if I'm
Avi's
gonna.
joining us today. Get ready, guys.
Psh,
Hear that Avi stream where she's playing a game with us today.
no, not today.
Right now.
For
like,
one, I
in-
don't have it. For two, there's no way I would be able to stay up that late. Again, this is why like I have to plan these kind of things, because if I'm gonna stream starting at 8 p.m., I have to nap longer. Okay, like
Because Avi works third shift, so I mean, so she's gotta.
yeah,
she's
it's
gotta
more
up
like a
and go.
0.5 shift, but still, yes.
True. You know what? That's facts right there.
Yeah, because
actually.
it starts
Well-
kind of like between, starts at like 3-ish and then ends at like 9 a.m.
So you are playing with us today, is what I heard, right?
Nope. Nope. Don't even have the game downloaded, so
Yeah, that's
Maybe you
fair.
should change that.
I have a corpse to go pick up.
Oh yeah, you died last episode,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. I know where.
Uh-oh.
I know where it is,
I tell you what, this has been a great starting up screen.
Yeah, I haven't started the stream yet. Sorry.
Neither
No,
have
you're
I.
good. No, you're good. I
alone.
just
I always wait until Kyle's done with his shtick.
Yeah, me too. Like that's why I timed it this. Like I was ready, like he's gonna do his thing. I don't want to interrupt him, so I'll wait for my stream to start up while he does his thing.
Why don't we just interrupt him the whole time?
I mean, you could always like,
Do it at the same time. Like
well, you could always just deafen while he does his thing. I mean, you could still be in call, like,
yeah, I mean,
if you
Hey,
wanted.
you don't-
no,
Your
because
stream's telling a lie right now, okay? Kyle, we're not even fighting the Elder right now. We're not ready.
let's say,
like
oh yeah, of course we're not ready.
You can't say we don't trust tree people because that person, we burned its babies!
babies.
And on that
That is the
note,
first thing it saw.
welcome back to the stream. It is Thursday.
It's
April
Thursday, my
22nd. You're watching
dude!
Radio Kyle.
Hello! I'm interrupting everything. Just make a point.
Kyle.
He said he would do that.
And today we're going back to playing some Valheim, and it's going to be a great time because we
I
have our
died.
constituents,
I
Poppy,
fucking hate my life.
Hi.
Poppy and Mike.
Sup?
Your favorite is human mod, except for Avital, who
No,
you
no,
can't
you
hear
always
right
say
now
favorite
because I
you
decided
always
to
say
just
favorite is mod.
mute the stream that's not coming from me.
Oh, what a bitch. What a fucking
So we're gonna get through the show real quick.
No,
if you like
there's
what I
a
do
troll,
here,
there's a
hit the
troll.
follow button, turn your notifications on. Mal2012 in the chat. Check the links out.
You see
Over
what we
here,
deal with?
check out the merch.
I see.
#WaterGang. Tip jar down below. Consider subscribing.
Hot
And
water.
Watch Kyle forget to
that.
unmute us.
let's get into it.
He
I'm
probably did.
sorry. Did you have a problem while I was just doing my thing?
Nice.
Oh, that means you're started. Okay, good. Okay, hold on.
Yes, I literally
so
just
funny.
muted the computer audio.
No,
so
I
could
know
do
you're
my-
started. I know you're started.
Uh,
That means
I still think you're
that I
terrible
can
lying,
stop.
fuck.
This is very unprofessional, Kyle. You should be able to work through it.
Okay.
What
You
is
know how
going-
many streamers I've watched that always just mute everyone on the Discord call? They're like, okay, even in the middle of things sometimes, they're like, I'm just gonna mute them, they're too much
That's
right now.
Now it is Avi.
Yeah, that's weak.
Yeah, that's
Never mute
cowardly.
anybody. Like, watch this. Hey, stream, everybody's here. Look,
Hi.
there's Kyle, and there's Avi,
Hello.
and there's Mikey, obviously.
I love how you
Yeah.
forgot who I was.
No, I saved the best for last.
Oh, good.
Aw.
Yeah.
Oh, how?
All right, here you go. You get here my. All right, guys. Guess what?
Nice.
I'm ending my stream, which means that I'm gonna send you guys over to
Stream.
Kyle.
Or me. I haven't started my stream yet, though.
It's
No.
a whole 2 viewers. It's very exciting.
Hey,
He
I
doesn't have
love
a
them
Twitch.
equally.
Ready in 1 second. All right, bye guys. By my stream, anyways.
Goodbye, stream.
Goodbye, stream.
Say hi to Kyle for me.
Ah. This is not.